Hello and welcome to this practice. This will be a short physical practice to really explore the theme of becoming unbound. And the idea really for this has come out of an experience of feeling constricted and bound and trying to understand what yoga would say about that, what explanation yoga would give for that. And when it comes to anything feeling bound or restricted or contained, even in a negative way, quite often we might think about the gunas. And the gunas are, we know, tamas, rajas, and sattva, but essentially they're attributes of the mind, they're attributes of energy, they're expressions of prana. And we can experience tamasic energy, rajasic energy, or sattvic energy at any given moment in the day. And we're comprised of all of them as well. And so yoga understands the world and the universe through the lens of the three gunas. And if we look at what that word guna means, the gu piece means to bound, to bind even. So essentially the gunas are what keeps us bound. And interestingly, the gu, G-U as well, is in the same root of the same word, the guru, so guru or guru. And that, my understanding of that word guru anyway as well is also someone who unbinds us, or who gives us knowledge or inspiration or information that unbinds us in some way. And so that experience of feeling bound can, that's such a broad thing that we can experience in many different ways. But just as an example, one way that I experience it sometimes is being kind of fixed in certain ways or patterns of thinking. And so whatever our imprints are, whatever our conditioning is to think in particular ways, or to act in particular ways, or to have particular habits or behaviors, oftentimes they can become so imprinted that they feel almost binding, and it feels like impossible to be able to break through them or break out of them. But obviously yoga gives us a toolbox as to how to do that and how to understand that. And again, the way that yoga understands that type of experience is by thinking of it through the lens of the gunas. So if we're bound by something, or if we're feeling like we can't move through a block or an obstacle of some kind, there's an experience of tamas, there's an experience of stuckness happening on some level. So whether that's physical or mental or energetic, it's usually all three. There's, is there any doorways essentially that we can start to kind of nudge into a little bit to free up a little bit of that energy? And it's easier said than done a lot of the time, but definitely working with the body can help to unstick mental patterns, which is also why asana is a crucial piece of the hatha yoga technology. So we use the body to free up stuck energy, to become unbound from energetic patterns in the physical body, which then gives us a little bit more access to see them a bit clearer in our mind. And then the shifting of that bound or stuck energy mentally, again, that can take any number of shapes and forms. But a lot of the time, just being guided to see it a certain way, or to acknowledge it in a particular way, or through a different lens maybe, can sometimes help to even shift a teeny tiny bit of what it's bringing us. Because ultimately, to be bound is to suffer. And that's the other nugget of wisdom that yoga offers, is that, what we're doing, all of these practices, asana, bandha, meditation, mantra, it's all for the purposes of becoming more liberated in our being. And so when we're not liberated, when there's stuckness or bound energy in some way, where something is caught up or knotted up, it creates a constriction, which impacts the level of freedom and liberation we experience in our body. And then that, by its very nature, is going to cause us some form of suffering. And so to remove the causes of suffering is also to remove things that bind us, and just to kind of have a practice now that's going to explore that. So we'll do that through some asana, through pranayama and bandha as well, and then finish up with a meditation. And so it might just be helpful to begin by setting your space up if you haven't already. So you'll need just something to sit on, maybe a block if you usually use a block for practice, or whatever else you usually need for Shavasana as well. You'll know at this point yourself what you need. So when you're settled, take as long as you need to do that, but we'll just start in a seat. And I'm going to invite you to begin eyes open and look around the space that you're in, the room that you're in, wherever you find yourself practicing this today. And just take a second to breathe, to locate yourself within this moment, in this particular unique moment in time. It's different from all the others that you've sat to practice or meditate. And just start to soften your gaze a little bit, so relaxing through the backs of the eyes. And just allow the space around you, the light in the room, to penetrate your eyes rather than the eyes seeking outwards. Let it be a more receptive, open-eyed receiving of light, receiving of just the simple act of looking at what's around you without trying to change it, without wishing it was different or in some way better or worse. And as you slowly let the breath deepen now, keep the eyes open, but begin to locate your body now as you breathe into it, and just fill a little bit deeper down into the abdomen, into the pelvis. Call yourself into the room in your current expression, whatever is there for you physically, mentally, emotionally. And once you're satisfied that you feel like all of you is here and your mind is not drifting around in a million different directions or reaching for a phone, then eventually slowly let the eyes begin to close in, or just soften the gaze and let it drift down towards the floor. And as you turn in, allowing yourself to do that same little bit of a scan through your inner landscape. And notice if there's anywhere that you could soften a little bit more. Where is the body feeling restricted? And is that a physical restriction? Is it mental, emotional? Maybe it's a combination. And if there's any little stretches or movements that want to happen to begin to alleviate a little bit of that just before we begin, just let yourself lean or stretch or yawn. Take a big breath. And in that same way now, just beginning to call to mind something, or maybe it's an experience or an emotion that you've had recently that has felt like it was binding you in some way. A feeling of stuckness. A feeling of being fixed or unable to shift through something. And it might be really, really big, and it might be something small, minor. You'll be the judge of where you go with this and what you call in, what you choose to sit with. What is your biggest block right now? What's the biggest obstacle, challenge facing you? Causing you to become restricted and bound. Maybe it's by something external to you, and maybe it's a feeling of being bound by your own mind, your own limitation, your own fear or doubt. And that can be a really big one. Our own fears, our own doubts keep us bound and stuck and small. So just really feel into that experience. Let yourself breathe a little bit deeper now into your belly, into your lungs, your upper chest. And especially if there's a physical experience or sensation of restriction, then see can you breathe even deeper and fuller into that. And we'll start with a round of Kapalabhati. So if you're not familiar with it, Kapalabhati is a short, sharp exhalation through the nose, pumping at the navel. And the very purposes of it is to unstick prana, to begin to stir up a little bit of energy in the lower 3 chakra points, where we tend to hold a lot of that stuckness and fear and doubt. And so it'll be a short, sharp exhalation through the nose, pumping at the belly. We'll go for about a minute or so, and then exhale, and then inhale and hold it, and I'll guide us through. And so just sitting up tall, relax the shoulders. And see, can you create space between the joints, space between the vertebrae, the spine, space between the plates that make up the skull, all those different bones. Just start to soften them a little bit so that you're mentally at ease even as you enter into pranayama. And just start by taking a full breath in through the nose, fill the belly. And exhale, let it all go. And the next round you'll inhale and begin Kapalabhati on the exhale, pumping at the navel, forceful exhale. Keep going. Make sure the breaths are full and complete. It doesn't matter about the pace. Go slower if it means the breath can be full and complete. Continue on clearing, imagining those binds and restrictions, just starting to begin to think about loosening their grip. They might not do it straight away, but just have that intention. Ten more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Exhale everything out. Pause at the bottom of the breath. And then take a deep inhale. Hold the breath at the top, retain it, drop the chin, pick up Mula Bandha at the base, engaging Jalandhara at the chin. And again, just holding your breath calmly here. Relax the face, relax the shoulders, even as you hold your breath, and feel that potentially a little bit of tension, containing, holding, binding everything in. And then for the exhale, just really let it go in whatever way you need to, just out through the mouth, the nose, all the way out. And pause for a breath, just naturally, slowly in and out. And we'll do a second round, going a little quicker this time if you can. Pumping at the belly. Inhale is passive, exhale is forceful. Keep it going, pumping at the belly. 10 more pumps. 3, 2, 1. Exhale all the air out. And this time take the right hand, block the right nostril with the right thumb, and inhale deeply through the left nostril. Hold the breath at the top, block both nostrils, drop the chin, sit up tall, holding breath. Awareness now at the bridge of the nose or the midbrain. Retain as long as you can. When you need to exhale, release, exhale out through the right, close the left side. And a soft, slow inhalation through the right. Exhaling left. And the hand releases down. Pause, just an even breath. We'll do one more round. And this time at the end, breathe in through the right side of the nose. Okay, so starting when you're ready. Keep pumping, find a rhythm, continue on another 20 seconds or so. Five, four, three, two, one. Exhale all the breath. Right hand to the face, block left nostril with ring finger. Inhale deeply through the right. Hold the breath, block both nostrils, pause, retain, sit upright through the spine, awareness into the midbrain. Retain the breath, Mula Bandha at the base. Hold as long as you can. Stay with the edge. When you need to exhale, release through the left side. To even it out, just inhale left, exhale right. And pausing now, hand releases to wherever it's comfortable. And allowing the breath to naturally move now through both sides evenly. Just nicely in and out, and enjoying a couple of even rounds. And maybe already you sense that little bit more space and evenness through the central channel. And just to continue on that, opening and clearing. Just pause for another couple of breaths. And remembering that centeredness so that you can call on it again later on in the practice. And then from here, we'll just shift off of whatever you're sitting on. Leave the props to the side. And we'll start in a standing position. We'll come up with the feet broader than hip width, toes turned out slightly to the sides. So we'll take a couple of rounds of Bhastrika here. So it's sometimes called pranayama technique, but it's really a cleansing purification technique. And again, it's great to start to clear and purify and unblock anything that might be in the lungs or the nasal passage. So from here, you're going to take your hands just above your knees, find a position that feels good for you. And you can just breathe in here, lean back slightly, pull the chest open, lift the head. So the inhale is through the nose, and the exhale, I'll just show you an example. You'll exhale, blast through your mouth and fold forwards, bending at the elbows. And kind of pump a little bit through your belly. So again, you're pumping, getting rid of whatever's there. Okay, so starting with the hands on the knees, inhale, open the chest, breathe in through the nose. Exhale, blast and fold forwards. Get it all out. Again, inhale, open. Exhale, blast and fold. Don't be afraid to make noise here. Take yourself through 2 more rounds. Inhale through the nose. Blast it out on the exhale. Really good. Now after that last one, slowly inhale, come to standing, pause into Tadasana, mountain pose. Just take up a bit of space. Lift the chest, pull the shoulders back. Anchor down through the feet, but be soft through the joints here. So there's no straining or stressing on the knees or the elbows. There's a sense of buoyancy. So just practice bending the knees really, really minutely here. So almost as if you can't notice bending the knees, but they're actually a little bit bent, and then re-straighten them. And just notice how that shifts your awareness of your feet, your shins, the lower half of your body. And each time you straighten the legs, imagine that you're just pushing down through the soles of your feet into the floor. So it's a micro bend in the knees, almost so small that you can't even notice it. And then re-straightening the legs and press into the ground. So you really feel that buoyant, upward moving energy that the ground offers us. So it really is there to support. So as you bend and straighten, just know that you can always lean on the floor and the earth if you need to go closer to the floor again at any stage. But even just feeling into that support that's there, that, sometimes when we think about releasing blocks or becoming unbound. It can feel like, oh, we're going to fall apart maybe if we let something go. But just to know that the ground is always there to catch us if we need it. So taking that little bend in the knees now and beginning to just let a little bit of a bounce come through the knees. So the heels can lift a little bit off the floor, but the balls of the feet are still on the ground. And again, just starting with a little shake here to start to clear and open, and just begin to shake the hands, the arms, maybe side to side or in front. Bend the knees a bit more. You can add in the breath if you want to lift the arms, and exhale, lower them. Whatever feels good here. Just take about another minute to just shake, 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 shake. Shake the hips. Shake your bum. Shake your knees, your legs, your hips, your head, your shoulders. Blah. Make a few silly noises if you need to. Shake, shake it high. And shake it low. Blah. Okay, 3, 2, and 1. And then just pausing again, finding ground, finding stability, finding the pressure between the soles of your feet and the floor. And the nature of balance that is happening through your whole body to keep you upright here. And so we'll move through just a simple sun salutation at the beginning and break it down really slowly. So starting with the feet hip width apart. And then as you breathe in, just lift all the way up over your head with the arms. Lean back ever so slightly so that the chest lifts. The chin stays tucked though, okay? So there's a bit of a counterbalance going on there. Your chest is lifting slightly, but your chin is tucked. And as your arms are raised, you're going to lift the arms up and out of their sockets at the same time as you lift up and out of the pit of your belly. So press down through the soles of your feet, reach the arms up as high as they can go. So pressing down through the floor and reaching up. Take one deep breath in here. Hold it in. Stay here, breathe out. And do that one more time. Deep breath in. Hold the breath in. Stretch hands even higher. And then exhale. And as you exhale, fold forwards. And just let everything fold in. So the knees are going to bend again here, micro bend. And again, even as you bend the knees a little bit here, that pressure through the soles of the feet and the floor, again, is like a nice little relationship there between gravity, levity, and the upper body just hangs heavy. So pausing there for a breath in the belly. Just gathering yourself, finding the structure of floor, of limbs, of feet. Taking a halfway lift then to breathe in. And exhale, fold. And this time, step your left foot forwards. Back. Left foot back. Right foot is going to be forward. So if you need blocks here on either side of the right foot, you can totally take them there if you need them. Might be nice if you're, not able to reach the floor super comfortably, but you can always just have your fingertips on the floor as well if that works. And just heel toe the right foot out slightly so that you feel you've got a little bit of balance here, and let yourself just shift the hip side to side to find that central spot where you're balanced. And you might also go forwards and back a couple of times just to really solidify that connection. Each time you go back, your right heel stays on the floor, but the foot flexes back. And each time you shift forwards, the sole of the foot goes to the floor. And see now, can you press into that foot in order to shape the movement? So almost as if the movement is starting with that right foot pressing into the ground. So you press into the ground, the hips start to shift back, your right leg straightens and your upper body folds. And then your heel starts to roll forwards and the sole of the right foot comes back to touch the ground again. So just a couple of times there. Great. And then the next time you come forwards, just inhale, sweep both arms up and overhead. Okay, so relaxing down through the shoulders a little bit, but again, lifting up through the armpits. So the same movement there. Press through the right foot, inhale, lift a little higher. Hold your breath in. Stay here, breathe out. Option to have the palms touching or just facing one another. Take another breath in, lift the chest high. Hold the breath. Stay here for the exhale. And one more time, breath goes in. Exhale, reach the right arm behind you. Take it either around the left hip or just rest it on the back of the left thigh. And then your left arm is going to cross over to the right knee or the outer thigh. So we're taking a little bit of a twist here, and you can come in and out of it a few times if you need to. Inhale, the left arm might extend long. As you bow out to the right, your left side stretches a little bit, and then you cross it over the leg again. So do that a couple of times. You're inhaling, lifting the arm, exhaling, lowering it, and the right hand stays where it is. And eventually just coming to hold the twist for a moment longer. Seeing, can you inhale and extend up through the crown of your head, and then exhale, rotate a little bit more to the right. And all the while calling on that stability from that right sole of your foot into the earth. As you press down into it, notice there's a little bit more buoyancy in the upper body. So tamas gets quite a bad rap, but we actually really need it for stability. And so this is really to explore that marriage between stability and lightness or freedom and movement. So we can often think that stability doesn't match with freedom, that they're different things, but actually we can be free in stability as well. So just maybe feeling into that as you hold the posture for a moment longer. Where can you experience a little bit more freedom, even in just the way you think about it? And then when you're ready, inhale, reach both arms up again, re-extend the arms, inhale, and then exhale, frame the right foot, step the right foot back to a downward dog, and the heel of the left foot lifts, and just pausing, downward facing dog, establishing the ground print here, palms pressing down, balls of the feet on the floor, maybe the heels on the floor, but it's not a requirement. You might get there, you might not, and that's okay. But some point of contact between soles of feet and floor, and just press evenly down through the palms now. And as you press evenly through the palms, again, imagine stretching the tailbone as high as it will go. It's like someone's pulling a string up away from the floor towards the ceiling as you press down through the palms. So really activate the arms as much as you can. Feet are hip width apart, knees slightly bent again. And so just play with that slight bending and straightening of the knees here. Same again, and again, your heels may reach the ground, they may never reach the ground, so that's not really what it's about. Downward dog is more about the spine than anything else. Just take one or two more breaths with that, playing with the pressure and the release, the bending and the straightening, shortening and lengthening. And then from there, inhale, come to the balls of your feet. So you're coming up almost like on your tippy toes, balls of the feet. And then lower the heels back in the direction of the floor again. So you'll do that a few times. Lower heels in the direction of the floor or to the floor, and then inhale up to your balls of your feet and then back. So it's almost like you're getting a little bit of momentum there. You're going right, rolling all the way to the balls of your feet and then back. And seeing what that does to the length of your spine and your relationship to the ground, your relationship to gravity, to balance. Forwards and back. Shoulders might eventually come over the wrists. Forwards and back. And you can even sync your breath up with it. Maybe let a little bit of a spinal roll accompany it, or maybe not. Just see where you're at. Forwards and back. Abdominal muscles engaged. And the next time you come forwards, come all the way forwards. Pause in your plank. And you can tuck and release the tailbone a couple of times just to really engage the navel center, abdominal muscles. Take a breath in the plank. Extend through the crown, push back through the heels. Breathe in. Hold the breath in. Stay here. Exhale. One more like that. Deep breath in. Holding the breath. Staying in the posture. Exhaling. And last time, breathe in. And this time on the exhale, lower knees, chest, chin, elbows stay tucked, forehead down. Zip the legs together, pause there. And then gently press through the pubic bone, press through the low belly. Inhale, just the lower back muscles are used to lift here. Inhaling into the low cobra. Chin is tucked, back of the neck is long. Exhale, fold. Working with that breath a few times, lift on the inhale. Lower on the exhale, fold, bow. Connecting whole front body with ground. Do one more. Inhale, lifting. Stay in the posture. Exhale, relax the shoulders. And inhale, take a little bit more air in. Lift up a little higher. And exhale, lower down. Tuck the toes under. Press the palms down. Shift back to downward dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana.
And again, taking up space here. What would happen if there was no rush to move on to the next thing? If you could just linger here a little bit longer, what would you notice? What about the bend in your knees? How much more can you bend them? What would that do to the shape? How much more can you press through the palms? Can you lift through the hips? Can you tuck the chin, relax the shoulders? And each breath is going to invite you into a deeper inquiry. So just stay with it a moment or two longer. Where are you bound? Where are you stuck? And how can you use your practice to start to see it maybe from a different angle, to breathe into the somatic experience of it? Walking the feet a little closer together. Inhale, step the left foot forwards. Right knee goes down to the floor. Have your blocks ready if you need them on either side. Pause to find your balance. Heel toe the foot out or closer to the center, whichever you need. Shift the hips side to side here, just letting any stagnancy start to shift out of the hips. And the hips can really be a tender point for a lot of people, so spend a little bit more time here if you need. And then coming into contact with the sole of the left foot, pressing it into the ground. And as you press the sole of the left foot into the ground, let the left leg straighten and begin to shift back so the left leg straightens and you fold over the leg. Inhale, come forwards, foot to the floor, chest opens. Exhale, shift back, flexing the left foot back to you. So again, just trying a couple of times, shifting back and forwards. And especially if there's tightness in hips or knees or somewhere else, just like take it slowly and feel free to do any other little movements along the way that feel like they're going to be supportive. Forwards and back. And then eventually coming to place that left foot on the floor again. And inhale, sweep the arms overhead, lift up and out of the hips, lift up and out of the armpits. Deep breath in. Stay here, breathe out. Another inhale. Hold the breath. As you hold the breath, reach the fingers higher, lift up and away from the hips, up and out of the chest. Open the chest and stay here, breathe out. Anchor through the left foot. Take another breath in and hold it. Retain the breath, pause. Notice the edge. Notice any level of tension or strain. Exhale, stay there. This time, inhale, lift, chest open. Hold the breath as long as you can. And then exhale, as you breathe out, the left arm is going to come behind you, either to the back of the right thigh or maybe right hip. And then cross the right hand over. So right hand to the outside of the thigh. And then playing with the movement a few times, inhaling, the right arm bows out. You might lean a little bit to the left. And then exhale, cross the right hand over in front again. So as many times as that feels good to try, just crossing over the midline of the body with your breath as much as you can. Hugging the inner thighs together. Press through the left foot and eventually come to a hold. So you're holding the twist, finding stability, and you're allowing a little bit of freedom within that stability. So what does it mean to be stable and yet to have space to breathe and to move? It requires that we relax a little bit. So if stability to us means rigidity and tension, then we're not going to be able to breathe properly. And that's going to restrict the free flow of breath, of prana. And so this is why we have shtiram, sukham, asanam, steadiness and ease in the posture. One last breath if you can. And inhale, re-extend both arms. Exhale, fold forwards, right foot tucks under, left toes heel toe to the center, and then just step the right foot forwards to meet the left. So you'll end up in a forward fold again. At the top of the mat, head is heavy, knees slightly bent, upper body relaxes, bend the knees again so that your bum almost sits down. You might even take a little bit of a shake through the bum, bend the knees and straighten them a couple of times. A little bit of a bounce. So you're really pressing through the soles of the feet. And then let the bouncing stop and just let the upper body be heavy again for a moment. And then begin to straighten the legs. And as the legs straighten, you might begin to lift up about halfway, let the arms dangle, so that the spine can be extended. And find that extension through the spine so that your chest isn't collapsed. You've got a straight line, right angle in the back body and the legs. Taking a breath in there. And then from there, tuck the tailbone under. And you might find the knees start to slightly bend again. As the tailbone tucks under, you begin to re-tuck the pelvis, keep tucking the tailbone, and then the rest of the body's going to unfurl and fold all the way up to a standing position. And just pause there. Let yourself breathe. Let yourself be steady. Even if it's not really what you're feeling right now, let the body just hold whatever is there. And recognize that the body is inherently present and here and in this moment, even if the mind has drifted away. And so then we'll just come to a wide stance on the mat, as wide as you can, with the feet pointing to the long edges of the mat. And then turn the right toes forward. So your right toes are going to go towards the top edge of your mat. And then from there, reaching the arms out, palms face down, take an in-breath here. And exhale, bend the right knee, elbow comes to the knee, and sweep the left arm down and around in front of you and reach towards the wall over your head. And then let the arm continue to circle all the way back around. As it circles around, you might even look at that top arm and let the left fingertips pull the right leg straight and come back up to the center again. So let that happen a few more times. Bend the right knee, let the left arm sweep down in front, reach left fingertips towards the wall in front of you, spiral around, open the left shoulder, let the arm reach all the way back and around. Fingertips are going to guide you up to straight leg again. And one more time, just circling through that left shoulder joint, unsticking any holding there, any sense of rigidity. Eventually coming to hold the side angle for a moment. But again, even as you hold and you find a position to stay in, where can you soften through the joints and the effort? Pull the right hip back, spiral the left side of the chest towards the ceiling, spiral the heart towards the ceiling, maybe look up to the ceiling. Breathe the whole way alongside the body. Take one final breath. You can hold it in at the top and feel that little bit of pressure. And stay here, breathe out. And then look to the floor. Inhale and just let the left hand come around to the front or the inside of the right foot. And the right hand is going to come down to the inside of the right foot as well. And you'll bend the right knee and just start to crawl around towards the other side. Okay, so your left knee is going to start to bend. And then you're just going to crawl the whole way back around. So you're just going to practice firstly crawling from side to side, twisting, turning the opposite foot to either end and bending the knee as you go side to side. And just see where, if you get stuck or if there's a little edge of just feeling a little bit like uncomfortable, you can always use blocks or props as you go. But just side to side, and the main thing is that each time you get to the other side, you bend the front knee and just take a little bit of a bend through the hips and opening through the chest. It doesn't have to be super deep. It can just be as far as you want to go. Eventually coming to pause in the center in a forward fold with the hands either on the floor or blocks or shins. Head is heavy, tuck the chin, take a breath in, open the chest. And then here as you exhale, you're going to blast out and fold forwards like we did at the beginning. Get rid of all the breath, inhale to the half lift again. Blast it out, fold forwards. Last one, breathe in. Exhale, fold. And pause in the forward fold. Take a moment there. Again, knees can be soft, slightly bent.
And then very gently inhale to the halfway point, hands to the hips, press through the feet, inhale, slowly rise and stand back up. And just pause with the hands by your side for a second there. Feet are still wide. Breath is full and smooth. We'll come straight into the other side. So turn the left toes out, left knee bends. Extend both arms. Inhale, straighten the left leg. And then as you exhale, the left hand comes to the left knee, right hand comes in front, sweep it around as far as you can, reach the fingers towards the opposite wall, and all the way around, maybe look back over your right shoulder if possible, sweep it all the way around and let something from your right fingertips pull you back up to a straight leg, re-extend the arms. Exhaling then down, the right arm, right fingertips are really leading the way, so imagining like you're drawing a circle on the ceiling and around and back behind you with your fingertips, and just letting the string on the middle finger of your right hand guide what the upper body does here. Just do one more your own way. Eventually coming to hold for a moment or two. Reaching the right arm over, spiral chest to ceiling, pull the right hip back, left hip pushes forward slightly. And again, anchor through the soles of the feet. So really connect into the steady ground, to the holding of the floor, the support that's pushing up through your legs as you hold your body here. And breathe a little deeper. And one last breath. And gently look to the floor. Exhale, the right hand's going to come down to the inside of the left foot as well. And just make space, and we'll do the same again here, just beginning to walk the hands around. So you turn the feet to the wide edge of the mat, and then as you walk around, the toes turn to the other end. And you just continue like that, if that's what you want to just continue doing that one. Or if you want to take it a bit deeper, you can always explore Skandasana, which is bending one knee and then bending the other one and shifting side to side. And just see where you go with that. So it's almost like you're squatting and the other leg is extended. And you're just going to play and see where you go. Again, you can have hands on blocks and just bend a little bit, maybe shifting side to side like this either, if you don't reach the whole way to the floor. And if you do reach the floor and you want to add the arms in and stretch a little bit side to side and just reach one arm up to the ceiling as the other presses into the floor, and add in that opening. Eventually coming back into wide-legged fold again, and the hands releasing down, head releasing down, knees slightly bent, and really soften into your belly here, like a balloon. The low abdominal muscles just totally release as you breathe in and out. Really, really gently then inhale to the half lift. Open the chest, hands to hips, press to the feet, and with a flat back, slowly rise all the way up. Pausing with the hands by your side and just feeling into that slight shift now of energy. And from here, just heel toe the feet together, and we'll come down into Vajrasana. So this is an inversion. I'm just going to tilt the screen slightly so you can see. This is an inversion shape. So we're going to start on our back with the knees drawn into your chest. And there's a couple of ways to come into it. Essentially, Viparita Karani is not the same as a shoulder stand. It's slightly different, so I'll demonstrate it first. I like to come up by lifting both feet at the same time and walking my hands up towards my lower back, and then the elbows walk together, and you create a little bit of a pike through your hips. So your gaze is looking straight up towards your big toes. So instead of shoulder stand, which would be more almost like a straight line with hips over the shoulders, this one, the hips are actually being held by a basket of your hands. Okay, so it's more to do with having a little bit of stability here. It's a lot more stable, so you can hold it for a bit longer. Okay, so if you want to just get yourself ready,
knees are bent. And also, if you don't want to do this whole inversion today, you can always do it supported. You can slide a bolster or a block of some kind just under your lower back and just take a version like that. That's a little bit less intense, maybe if you're menstruating or just not feeling it today. But if you're coming up, you're going to draw the knees to your chest. And hands can either be face down on the floor, or sometimes it's nice to bend the elbows slightly and just kind of have a little bit more support. So it depends on your arms and what you prefer. But whenever you're ready, lift the legs up, lift the hips off the ground, press through the palms so that your hands can walk up towards your lower back. And get your palms nice and cozy in, walk your elbows closer together. And then when you have a grip on your lower back, sit your hips back into your hands. So it's really like a sitting back. And your hands, your upper arms are taking most of the weight here, not the neck. And so looking up towards your toes, make sure that the legs are straight and that your big toes are aligned above your eyes. Okay, so walking the elbows, the shoulder blades a little closer together can give you a little bit more stability if you're feeling wobbly. But if you've got something that feels good, stay here, close the eyes. And now just breathe. And sense that all of that stuckness from the lower center that we can start to clear and that we've kind of dug into a little bit through earlier practice is now starting to just rise up and be purified through the heart. As you inhale, it rises through the chest, into the throat, and as you exhale, it moves from throat out through the crown of the head. We'll just hold for about another 10 seconds or so, 10 breaths if you can. When you're ready to come out, you can either take the legs behind you into halasana, or I like to just bend my knees, squeeze the knees into my chest, turn the palms to face down on the floor, and carefully lower my hips back down. And just pause with the knees drawn to the chest in Apanasana. And the breath in the belly. And just taking a moment there. And from here we'll roll to the side and come all the way back around onto our belly. So belly down, back bends are great counter poses to inversions. And so we'll just do very, very gentle Shalabhasana. So taking the hands behind the lower back, interlace them if you can. Zip the legs together. Inhale, lift the chest away from the mat, keep the chin in. And if you can, use the hands, the fists as leverage to lift a little higher. Take another breath in. And then exhale and just lower. And we'll do it again. An option to add the legs. So inhale, lift. Chest lifts, maybe legs lift. If the legs are lifted, zip them together, point the toes, keep the chin in, stay here, continue to breathe. You feel a little bit of a lift through the chest as you hold. And the breath is going to have to be in the chest here, otherwise it'll impact the shape. So just take 2 more breaths if you can. And carefully release. Turn the head to one side. Pause. And gradually turn the head to the other side. And then from there, hands beneath the shoulders. Just tuck the toes. And shift back to a Vajrasana, kneeling position, hips to heels. Just pausing here for a moment. Spine can be nice and upright. And just tuning in once again to the body. And to anywhere that you might have identified at the start of practice as being constricted or bound or tense or tight. And maybe nothing has shifted and maybe something has, but it doesn't really matter. It's more to come into contact again with it right now. And just take another deep breath in, into the space that you identified or felt the most.
And then we'll just finish with some floor twists. So Ardha Matsyendrasana, floor to the fishes. So we'll start with the legs extended and then draw the right knee into your chest. So the left leg is extended, the toes are flexed back, and you're going to cross the right foot over the left. Okay, so either stay with the left leg extended or bend it. If you can bend it without the right hip lifting off the ground, that's great. Otherwise, keep it straight. Right hand behind you. And then inhale, left arm is going to extend, find length through the spine, breathe in. And exhale, twist. And find a grip either on the outside of the thigh or maybe elbow to the inside. And you can come in and out a few times if you want. Inhaling to extend, exhaling to twist. And eventually holding somewhere that you can lift the chest upright. Take a nice long inhale. And as you exhale, you're twisting a little bit more. Holding, finding stability, but also freedom within that stability. And then slow inhale back to the center. Untwist. And we'll just go straight to the other side. So legs extend, left knee in, left leg crosses over. Either bend the bottom leg or keep it straight. Try and do the same as you did on the other side. So the left hand will come behind you. The right arm will reach up. Breathe in to extend and twist on your exhale. So the right elbow is either going to meet the inside of the left knee or thigh or maybe wrap around it. You can come in and out, reach up on the breath in and twist on the breath out. And eventually holding there, finding, again, stability. And as you breathe in, allow for a little bit of ease to creep in there. So the trouble with just kind of following the flow or, following the freedom can sometimes lead us into a little bit of rajas, which is the chaos and the instability that can sometimes come with that. And so it's really to balance tamas and rajas, to have equal amounts of both, is what eventually allows a little bit of sattva to creep in. So don't get too stuck in either. And slow in breath to untwist. We'll just counter twist out to the right. Re-extend both legs. And then legs both extended out in front. We'll just take Paschimottanasana. Inhale, reach the arms up. Lift up and out of the hips. Lift up and out of the armpits. Find length and strength. One more time. A little bit of effort to breathe in and lift. Keep that extension through the spine and through the arms. Keep the chest open, but begin to hinge at the hips and fold. You can always have the knees slightly bent here. Inhale, then lift all the way back up. Exhale, hinge and fold. And just to your degree, you can always bend the knees or grab a strap if you need and do one more dynamically. Lifting on the in-breath, folding on the out-breath. Keeping the chest open and pausing wherever you stop. You might grip the toes, you might grip a strap, you might grip the feet, wherever you are. Lift the chest open, breathe in, and exhale, soften the bend in the elbows, fold forwards, drop the chin, drop the head, drop the effort. Create the shape and release effort. Now just breathe. And feeling into both of those realities at play at the same time. Stability of the physical body, containment, and the play of breath. That unpredictable, always changing, coming and going. Tamas meet rajas, eventually creating sattva. And re-extending the arms, inhale, rise back up. And exhale, just spin around. Make your way to Shavasana. Knees to chest if you need to first. Maybe take a little twist side to side if that feels good. Or massage the lower back, whatever you need here. Just reconnecting to the ground. Eventually re-extending both legs. Extending both arms beside you, turn the toes out, draw the shoulders down your back so that the chest can be open. And soften the gaze or close the eyes in. And just breathe here for the first moment. Feeling into the navel center, abdominal region, heart center, whole torso. And then the limbs extending from that torso, unbound. Just extending outwards in all directions. And each time you breathe in, sensing that space around your body, the periphery of your body just starts to extend a little bit wider in all directions. And then as you exhale, it contracts and draws back in towards yourself, into your center. As you inhale, the periphery of your body expands a little bit wider, maybe into the space around you, into the whole room around you. And as you exhale, it draws back in and down towards you, your body, your spine, your hips, your legs, your feet. And just continue to practice that with the breath, inhaling, expanding slightly, awareness outwards. Exhaling, contracting and drawing it in. Exploring the nature of being unbound and bound at the same time. Bound by a physical body, but unbound by the capacity to think and feel and sense and experience life through it. And just taking 2 final breaths. Before just resting back onto the earth. And letting all effort subside, mental effort, physical effort. Just rest into the experience of being a body resting on the earth. And starting to breathe a little bit deeper. When you're ready, allow the body to begin to move very, very subtly again. And eventually rolling to one side and just coming up to a seat. And take your time to get there. And when you do, you'll rest your sit bones into a support of some kind, a prop or block or bolster. Letting the tailbone tuck so that the lower back broadens slightly. And as the lower back broadens, the spine sits taller, the crown of the head sits taller, and you relax the shoulders. And there's this stability created, but also a softness in your approach. And just letting the eyes close down again and begin to tune into your spine, to your hips, into the flow of the breath naturally moving through.
And we'll just start to count the breath evenly in and out through the nose now. 6 in, 6 out. We're taking a full breath in to begin together. And a full breath out to empty. Inhaling through the nose for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 6. Keep going. Pause for 3 counts at the top of the breath. And exhale for 6 all the way out. And pause at the bottom of that exhale for 3. So 6, 3, 6, 3. In 6, hold 3. And out 6, pause 3. Just letting the breath be smooth, even, silent, complete. 6, 3, 6, 3. Gathering awareness at the top of the breath in and pooling it at the bottom of the breath out. And just continue on for another couple of rounds. 6, 3, 6, 3. And eventually, after this next round, just letting go of the counting completely. And let the breath settle into its own natural rhythm, uninterrupted. No holding or pausing, forcing or straining. And just letting that river of grace and awareness unfold. And begin to draw attention to the midbrain, to the center point of the space that the head occupies. Below the crown of the head, between the temples, above the roof of the mouth, and just even softening into the bones that make up your skull. All of the little plates that come together to create the skull, and then the bones just behind the eyes, and the physical structure of your head. See where you can allow a little bit of softening there. As you relax the muscles now behind your eyes. Relax the sides of your neck and your jaw, your tongue. But let awareness remain alert at the midbrain. And as if that softening just ripples down now through the rest of the body, over the arms, the chest, sternum, upper back, lower back, hips, pelvis, pelvic floor, down to the legs and the feet. Your attention at the midbrain doesn't waver. It simply is. Beyond story, beyond attachment, beyond ideas of right, wrong, good, bad, should, shouldn't. This unwavering, omnipresent awareness. And as you rest into this, you're just calling to mind your obstacle, the thing that has kept you bound, or the experience, the sensation of resistance or fear or doubt or contraction. And so can you meet it with that grace, with that pure awareness that is unbound, unlimited in its expression, in its access to compassion and love, understanding. And just rest into that for a final minute here. I am drawn to the wild edge of the ocean of my being. My curiosity unbound, I test the limits of the limitless and the boundaries of the timeless. I walk the path, the way of ways, to the end which is not an end. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Just chant Om 3 times to close. Drawing hands to heart or hands to body. Deep breath in. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thank you for practicing. And see you soon.